If you've spent the last few evenings scrolling through endless listings, comparing pixel counts, talking to sales reps, and still feel like you're chasing a moving target, you're not alone. I've been in that exact spot, staring at a wall of specs for digital signage screens, wondering whether I'd end up with a brilliant storefront display or a pricey paperweight. The biggest fear is simple: you spend a chunk of money, mount it, only to discover it can't handle the content workflow you need, or the image just doesn't cut it in a bright retail environment. That anxiety is why I dug into the LG SuperSign 55LW540S before pressing buy. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. Let's break down what this particular model actually brings to the table, who will get the most mileage out of it, and where it might fall short, so you can decide whether it's the right fit for your business without the guesswork. First off, the SuperSign line is LG's dedicated digital signage ecosystem, and the 55LW540S is the 55-inch, Full HD variant. Size matters a lot in signage. A 55-inch screen fills a lobby or a retail aisle nicely without overwhelming the space. The resolution of 1920x1080 is standard for most advertisement loops, price tags, and informational feeds, and it's a sweet spot for most content creators because they don't have to upscale or downscale heavily. That means sharper text for menu boards and cleaner logos on promotional loops. What most people overlook is the practical side of getting the unit up and running. The LG SuperSign 55LW540S arrives ready to mount on a standard VESA bracket, and the included wall plate is surprisingly sturdy for an LCD of this size. In my test setup, a small boutique coffee shop, the mounting took about 15 minutes with a basic drill, no special tools required. The real convenience comes from the connectivity options: an HDMI port, a USB slot, and a built-in Ethernet port that plugs straight into a LAN. The Ethernet is a game-changer because it removes the hassle of Wi-Fi instability, especially in venues where a constant signal is a must. I could hook the display to our existing digital signage software, push a schedule of looping videos, and have it run 24/7 without any flicker or dropout. The serial port on the back is a nod to more complex installations. For those who run kiosk systems or need to integrate with legacy POS devices, that extra line gives you a fallback that many consumer-grade displays simply don't have. I know a friend in a hospital network who uses the serial connection to trigger the screen on and off based on a central scheduling system, something you can't do on a basic smart TV. Now, let's talk about the day-to-day strengths that matter after the box is opened. The panel's brightness sits around 350 candelas per m, which is higher than the typical office monitor but not as punchy as a dedicated outdoor billboard. In a well-lit interior, a restaurant bar, a corporate reception, or a gym, it reads clearly even with ambient lighting. The color reproduction is true to life, which means brand colors don't look washed out. Because it's a commercial-grade LCD, the panel is designed for longer on time. LG rates it for up to 24/7 operation, and in my month-long trial the screen showed no burn-in or hot pixel issues, a common worry for static signage. One hidden trade-off that shows up once you start planning content is the resolution ceiling. The 1080p panel can't display 4K assets without scaling them down, which isn't a problem for static ads or simple video loops, but if your brand's creative library leans heavily on ultra-high-definition footage, you'll need to downsample before scheduling. That extra step can feel like a nuisance if you're used to pushing raw files straight from a media server. In practice, though, most signage agencies recommend 1080p as the standard anyway, so you're not likely to lose much visual fidelity unless you have a very specific visual hierarchy. On the software side, LG ships the SuperSign Cloud platform, a browser-based portal where you can upload videos, images, and schedule playlists. The interface isn't as slick as some high-budget enterprise solutions, but it's straightforward: drag a file, set a timer, and hit publish. For a small business without a dedicated IT team, that simplicity is a win. However, the downside is the lack of deep analytics. You won't get detailed eye tracking or dwell time reports directly from the display. You'd need a third-party analytics suite if that data is critical to your marketing strategy. Who should seriously consider the 55LW540S? If you run a retail store, a quick-service restaurant, a hotel lobby, or an educational campus where you need a reliable, medium-sized screen to broadcast announcements, menus, or wayfinding cues, this model ticks the boxes. The price point sits comfortably between low-cost consumer TVs and high-end Signage rigs, giving you a commercial warranty without breaking the budget. Its Ethernet connectivity, serial port, and LG's proven panel lifespan make it a low-maintenance choice for anyone who values uptime. Who might want to skip it? If you're planning an outdoor billboard that needs high